Anyway, I know when I was younger, and even really up to very recently when I just kind of had to look into it, never fully understood what taking care of your car was, because it was always just said. No one ever got any more specific than that.
Yeah, literally just, to me, it meant if something breaks,
fix it.
Go get that fixed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to get into the preventative maintenance side of things a little bit, and maybe how to drive your car a little bit, to take care of it a little bit better. So first off, preventative maintenance is the most important thing, and all you really have to do to know what you need to do for your individual car is look at your
look it up online or look through your manual.
Look through your manual is
First
what I was
of all,
going to say,
yeah.
because it's going to have a list right there what you need to do and when you need to do it. It'll be something like every 15,000 miles do this or that, or every 100,000 miles. After 100,000 miles, it's usually something like change your timing belt or chain, whatever you have. And then of course every 3,000 to 5,000 miles you want to change your oil, your transmission fluid, your coolant. Those are other things.
All your fluids, always.
Except for
your fluids.
Your brake fluid, you should not have to mess with. That is hydraulic system. That is a closed system. That fluid should always be fine, and nothing should get into that system.
But if you do,
and then as far as just as an example here, the most knowledge we have specifically is rotary engines, which it doesn't necessarily apply to all cars, but it is
a little different. Different.
So I'll throw it to you for a little bit of the RX-8.
Preventative maintenance for rotaries is key. Piston engines can take a little bit of abuse, you know, like, okay, you're abusing your oil a little bit, like, I know I need to get it changed. Rotaries, you need to be on top of that. It will bite you in the ass. You're going to have to do a rebuild or something. You're going to lose some seals.
Rotaries use a lot of oil.
They burn it. If you're not burning oil, that's another problem for a rotary. You should be burning oil.
Yes, they burn oil by design, as odd as it sounds. You need a little bit of oil to properly seal the rotor inside the housing.
Running good in there,
yeah.
You know, you can obviously be running too much oil, and there's another problem. So it's a tricky thing, man.
Yeah.
You're going to be burning that oil, like we said. So most cars, it's like a, 3,000 to 5,000 miles for your oil change, depending on what kind of oil you're using.
Yes.
Rotaries, you're going to be adding about another quart of oil every 1,000 miles or so. It just burns through it, like we said. So
and that is supposed to happen.
That's different there, you know. So that is something that's different.
Yes.
Again, like, rotaries are just a higher maintenance thing, and if you're not into that, then rotary is not for you. If you just want a car that's going to run without you having to do anything, go get something else.
Yeah, get your ass some pistons.
Yeah, a straight six, like this.
Oh yeah, shit. If you want the most reliable 4-banger or a straight 6, V8's really a lot of depending on the V8 heavily. But and then another thing as far as preventative maintenance, which really the rotary especially brings this into play. Because it's so sensitive, there's going to be things that are outside of what the manual says, because these were just design flaws, not flaws, but so we've been looking into RX-7s recently, and for example on that there is some coolant tanks on there that are made out of plastic. If you look into those, they're going to be starting to get foggy and shitty because it's so hot in there. You're going to want to go ahead and replace those.
It's just a rotary thing. Heat, I mean, it's just way more heat from a rotary engine than from a piston comparatively.
So you're going to want to replace. Here's this El Camino again. Just going to give you a little shot of that as it goes by.
What a badass.
What a fucking badass. Anyway, yeah. So just for those, for example, you want to replace those coolant tanks with some good quality aluminum ones, because they're going to be able to handle that.
It's not plastic. You guys should be able to see the difference there.
Yeah. Another thing, with non-JDM RX-7s, in Japan they did not come with a pre-cat. In the US, to meet emission standards, they came with a pre-cat. That pre-cat will get clogged as fuck. So you either want to get a straight downpipe, or hope if you're in an area where you're going to have emissions tests that you can get a better performance pre-cat, and hope that it doesn't get clogged, even though it probably still will get clogged and you may have to change that. But if you don't have a straight downpipe or a higher performance pre-cat, you will get heat back up into the engine, and it'll start overheating. I say overheating, but it'll start heating all of your engine bay components, anything that isn't necessarily even designed to take the heat of the rotary, is going to start getting a little extra.
Everything's going to break faster in a rotary because of the heat.
Yes. So, but there are things you can do preventative maintenance wise to
and as long as you stay on top of it, like we said, preventative is the key word there.
Yes.
As long as you stay on top of it, it's not going to be any worse.
It's really, yeah, I was going to say, it's really just like anything else.
But most people just abuse that shit. Come on.
Yeah. And then as far as how to drive your car, there's not necessarily too much to it. Give your car a chance to warm up if you plan on doing heavy driving. If you're just going to, if say you have back to a regular old piston engine, regular considerations, if you're just planning on getting in your car and driving to work or something like that, for example, you don't necessarily need to let it warm up too much. Just don't bang on the gas as soon as you start it.
I mean, I like to push on the pedal, so anytime I get in mine...
oh, yes, me.
I let it run for a minute, and then before I get out, obviously, again, let it run for a minute.
Well, and he has a rotary as well. That is actually, for a rotary, it is important that you always do that.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But for regular piston cars, you don't necessarily. Yeah, but what you actually want to happen there is you want to let your oil get up to temperature, so it's flowing properly. Another Corvette over there. You want to let your oil get up to temperature. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it in a previous video. I never used to be, but I fucking am now. But you want to let your oil get up to temperature so it's flowing properly and lubricating all of your engine components. Especially when it's cold, on a cold start, the oil is going to be thicker. So you want to let it heat up and get to proper operating temperature. Yeah. And then, so really just don't dog it right off of the bat.
No, bad idea.
Then say we got a turbo car as well. Generally, you're all right, but if you're doing heavy driving, you want to let it warm up especially, and then also you want it to let it cool down. What you're trying to do there is make sure you don't get any play in your turbo shaft.
Then if you have a turbo rotary,
you want to probably just give it a full half hour before and after. Just joking, but you definitely want to make some special considerations. And then really you can also go a little lighter on your brakes. Accelerate or decelerate from a distance instead of just stopping right at the end.
That all the time. Like I'll be coming to a red light from a distance, and they would just ride right up to it and slam on brakes.
Yes, and that is.
They will literally pass me because I'm just coasting up to the red light. Because why am I going to waste my brakes? Like,
yeah. Sure. Oh, that's a TGI reference over there. Yeah, so that's just undue stress on your brakes, essentially. You don't need to work them that hard in that case.
And if you don't have to, why would you?
Yes, but at the same time, you're not really necessarily hurting your vehicle. Very last second, slamming on the brakes isn't great for it. But you're not. You're just wearing down your brake pads and your discs a little bit quicker than you may otherwise.
Pretty much just penny pinching right there.
Yeah, it's just penny pinching. You just don't have to do it, but if you'd like to, it doesn't necessarily hurt you though.
Why not?
And really, it's actually that simple once you get down to it. Just make sure you read your manual, do what it tells you to do for preventative maintenance, do a little research, see if there's anything special, like for a rotary, for example, that you want to do on your car. For my car, even actually, the 2006 CTS, not the V, just 3.6 liter V6. The timing chain is prone to breaking around the mileage I have, 90 to 110,000 miles, which is unfortunate. So it's better to replace that, but it's a very difficult thing to do on my car. So it's one of those things where you have to decide whether you're better off replacing it in the first place or just letting it break and then fixing it. Although you're looking at blowing your engine if you let it break, so you want to be very careful with that. It's a tricky thing.
I'm not sure if you just said. I was going to say. Your timing chain's on the back, isn't it?
The timing chain is on the back of my engine, which is, I said it was difficult, but it's a very difficult thing to do with the Cadillac because the timing chain is located on the rear of the engine, which is not typically the case. It's just, undue complication via Cadillac. Thank you very much. That, I think, will about wrap it up, though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this was informative for those of you who wanted to better understand what it means to take care of your car.
I think it ended up being a little more rotary specific than...
It's just, rotary is a very good example.
Well, no, I said this video ended up being a little more rotary specific than maybe intended.
A lot of our videos are probably going to end up pretty rotary specific.
When you go to rotary.
Yeah, and who knows, there might be more rotaries coming in the future.